Hello, this is a quick review of the Dunlop Trailmax D609 tyres that were fitted as standard to my NC750X. Now these tyres have only covered, I've just checked, 2,220 miles. Oh, if I'd known that I'd have done a couple more miles around the block, never mind. So they haven't covered a lot of miles, and as you can see the rear tyre's pretty much down to the wear bars now. In fact the tread is... it's not much more than 1 mil, really. Don't know if I can focus on that. Focus, you fack. Yeah, the tread is not far off 1 mil in places. And in my opinion, this is terrible tyre life, to be honest. So what's the issue? Why have they lasted so poorly? Well, I believe that either Honda approached Dunlop and said, you know, we need X thousand tyres, but we're only going to pay Y per tyre. And then Dunlop went off and tapped away on their kink calculator and worked out what they could do for that price. Or maybe Dunlop developed a special cheap tyre just for OEMs, but not really meant for general retail sale. Either way, the result is that mugs like me end up with tyres that need to be changed only a few months after buying the bike. So let's have a look at the tyres themselves first. Note that these tyres have been kept to the standard recommended pressure from Honda, 3642. Yes, I know there's scope for adjusting those values, but on a new bike with tyres supplied by Honda, I figured I'd just stick to that for now. So the rear tyre is quite scuffed around the edges here on the surface. And this appeared after only a few hundred miles. To be fair, some of my favourite corners on the A44 did have fresh shell grip added to them this year, but I don't recall tyres scuffing like this so quickly in normal road use on any bike I've had before. The NC is clearly not a sports bike, and although it can pick up its skirts and run for a bit, it's not really happy being thrown around like a sports bike either. Not sure if it'll show, it never really does on the camera, but they are squaring off as well, despite the lack of straight roads around here. And again, it's going to be almost impossible to see on the camera, I think, but there is this sort of cupping or possibly feathering, you might call it, along the edge of some of the tread blocks, especially on the sides here. Let's have a quick look at the front tyre. So on the front tyre, things are pretty much the same. This still getting on for a couple of mil of focus, you fack. Obviously the fronts typically tend to wear less than the rear tyres. We've got the same scuffing just off the centre of the tread here. Again, this appeared, you know, within a few hundred miles. And again, although you can't really see it, it's less pronounced, but there is some of that cupping of the tread. Now, I have had tyres wear with those weird tread patterns before. The Road Pilot 4, I remember, with its across the tread sipes, that cupped really badly on a bike I owned many years ago, which is one of the reasons I haven't fitted that tyre since, if I'm honest. So why is this happening? Well, I suppose the NC is a pretty heavy bike for its class, especially in DCT guys, although you don't feel that when riding. There's a fair amount of engine braking, so that must have an effect on the rear tyre, I'm guessing. And although I didn't measure the tread depth when new, I believe there's far less tread on these to begin with compared to what you'd expect when buying a tyre over the counter retail. In fact, let's have a check on the side. I don't know whether there's any science involved here. Yeah, I mean, there's 3 mil on the side there. Let's try here. Yeah, 3.5, 4 mil. I'm sure I heard somewhere someone reckoned these only had 4 mil tread when they were brand new, and I think I can believe that, to be honest. And finally, I expect the budget suspension fitted to the NC really makes these tyres work a lot harder on our wrecked UK roads. So maybe the tyres having to do a lot more work at sort of normal road speeds than on a bike with plusher suspension, perhaps. So if it was the summer, I'd be tempted to run these for a few hundred more miles to get the most out of them. But as winter's finally arrived, I think it's definitely time to replace them. So I'll be back once the new tyres are fitted. So, got my new tyres fitted now. I considered all the usual suspects when thinking about what to get, you know, your pilot roads and that sort of thing. I was actually looking at getting a set of Dunlop Mutants because they've had good reviews, but they're currently quite expensive and difficult to get hold of locally, and there isn't really much choice for tyre fitting around where I live, unfortunately. In the end, I've gone with a tyre that I had on a previous bike and was very happy with in all weather conditions, so hopefully they'll be as good on the NC, and it's the Pirelli Angel GT. Not a new tyre, in fact there's a newer version, the GT2 is out, but these ones are available at a reasonable price. As I said, I've had them before and they were really good, so I have high hopes that they will be good on the NC. Now all I've got to do is try and wrestle the back wheel back into the bike, which is always fun on a DCT bike with 2 brake calipers. Wish me luck. Oh, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, you know, all the stuff that real YouTubers tell you to do.